The impossible Discovery Commander Sarah Chun stood in the observation deck of Titan's Edge, her weathered hands wrapped around a steaming cup of synthetic coffee. The deep space mining station hung silently in the void, its massive extraction. Arms working tirelessly on the asteroid designated as Mining Site Alpha 7. For 3 years, this had been her domain, her responsibility, and honestly, her prison. The routine was always the same: extract rare minerals, process them, ship them back to Earth, and repeat the cycle endlessly. The morning shift had just begun when the alarm started screaming throughout the station. Sarah's coffee cup shattered. On the metal floor as she rushed to the command center, her military training kicking in despite years of civilian life. The control room was chaos, with red warning lights flashing across every console and her crew frantically trying to make sense of the data streaming across their screens. Dr. Marcus Webb, the station's chief scientist and xenorchaeologist, was hunched over his workstation, his usually calm demeanor replaced by intense concentration. His gray beard trembled slightly as he spoke without looking up from his instruments. "Commander, we're picking up massive energy signatures approximately 2 kilometers off our port side. The readings are unlike anything in our databases." Sarah moved to the main display screen, watching as the sensors painted a picture of something enormous moving through space. Engineer Rosa Martinez, a brilliant woman in her 30s, with grease-stained coveralls and determined eyes, was working frantically at the engineering console. "Ma'am, whatever this thing is, it's big, really big. The mass readings suggest something at least twice the size of our entire mining operation." Captain David Knox, the station's security chief and Sarah's old friend from their military days, joined them at the central command console. His scarred face showed the concern that years of combat had taught him to recognize. "Sarah, the object just dropped out of what looks like some kind of faster-than-light travel. It's holding position about 1 kilometer away from our mining site." The main screen flickered as the optical sensors locked onto their mysterious visitor. What they saw made everyone in the command center fall silent. Floating in the darkness of space was a ship unlike anything humanity had ever built. The vessel was enormous, easily 3 times the length of their mining station, with a hull that seemed to shimmer with an otherworldly blue-green light. Strange geometric patterns covered its surface, and wing-like structures extended from its sides in configurations that defied conventional spacecraft design. Dr. Webb was the first to speak, his voice barely above a whisper. "It's beautiful. The design is completely foreign to anything in our historical records. The materials appear to be some kind of crystalline composite, and those energy patterns running along the hull suggest technology far beyond our current capabilities." Rosa was running detailed scans from her engineering station, her fingers dancing across the controls as she tried to make sense of the readings. "Commander, this is impossible. The ship is showing 0 energy output, no heat signatures, no electromagnetic emissions. It's like it's completely dead, but somehow still maintaining perfect stability in space." Sarah studied the alien vessel carefully, her tactical mind analyzing every detail. The ship showed no obvious weapon systems, but its very presence was intimidating. After decades in space, she had developed an instinct for danger and right. Now, every nerve in her body was on high alert. "Any signs of life aboard the vessel?" Captain Knox checked his security sensors and shook his head. "Nothing definitive. The hull appears to be blocking our bioscanners, but there's definitely some kind of power source deep inside the ship. It's faint, almost like emergency power, but it's there." Dr. Webb looked up from his analysis with excitement burning in his eyes. "Commander, this could be the greatest discovery in human history. First contact with an alien civilization. We need to investigate this ship immediately." Sarah nodded slowly, understanding the magnitude of what they were facing. "Rosa, what's the status of our exploration shuttle?" The engineer quickly ran through her checklist. The shuttle is fully operational. Commander, life support is good for 12 hours, and we have a full complement of scientific equipment and emergency supplies. Dr. Webb, I want you to lead the scientific team. Rosa, you're our technical expert. Knox, you're responsible for security. I'll pilot the shuttle. Sarah moved toward the equipment locker where their EVA suits were stored. This could be the most important mission any of us will ever undertake. 30 minutes later, their small exploration shuttle approached the alien vessel. Up close, the ship was even more impressive and mysterious. The hull material seemed to shift and change as they watched, creating patterns that were almost hypnotic. Dr. Webb was recording everything, his scientific instruments working overtime to catalog every detail. There, Rosa pointed to a section of the hull where the geometric patterns formed what appeared to be an opening. That looks like it might be a docking bay or airlock. As if responding to their presence, the section of hull began to iris open, revealing a chamber filled with soft, pulsing light. Sarah carefully maneuvered their shuttle into the opening, and the alien ship sealed itself behind them. Atmosphere. Readings showed the chamber was pressurized with a breathable oxygen-nitrogen mixture, almost identical to Earth normal. The 4 humans stood at the airlock of their shuttle, looking out at the interior of the alien ship. The walls were covered with the same crystalline material as the exterior, but here it glowed with gentle bioluminescent patterns that seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. Corridors stretched away in multiple directions, all of them perfectly smooth. And seamlessly constructed Dr. Webb was practically vibrating with excitement as he checked his instruments. The architecture is incredible. These walls appear to be grown rather than built, like some kind of organic technology. The mathematical precision is beyond anything we've achieved. They moved through the ship carefully, their footsteps echoing. In the strange corridors, the technology they encountered was completely alien, yet somehow familiar. Control panels responded to touch with interfaces that seemed to adapt to their presence. The ship's systems appeared to be learning from them, adjusting to human ergonomics and thought patterns. Rosa stopped at what appeared to be an engineering station, her technical expertise allowing her to recognize function even in such foreign design. These power systems are incredible. They're using some kind of controlled fusion reaction, but the efficiency is off the charts. This technology could revolutionize human space travel. Captain Knox was examining what appeared to be defensive systems, his military experience helping him identify potential weapons even in their alien configuration. These ships could outgun anything in the Earth defense fleet. The energy output alone suggests weapons capable of cracking planets. Asterisk, as they explored deeper into the vessel, Dr. Webb made a discovery that stopped them all in their tracks. In what appeared to be the ship's central computer core, he found data storage systems that contained information in multiple languages. Most of it was completely alien, but scattered throughout the data were fragments of text in languages that made his blood run cold. "This can't be right," he muttered, running the data through his portable translation unit. "Commander, you need to see this." Sarah joined him at the alien console, watching as human languages scrolled past on the display. English, Chinese, Spanish, Russian, Arabic, all the major languages of Earth were represented in the alien database. But more disturbing were the technical specifications that Rosa was finding in the engineering sections. "These propulsion systems," Rosa said, her voice filled with disbelief, "they're based on human theoretical models. The fusion reaction design is an advanced version of the Mackenzie drive that Earth scientists have been working on for the past 5 years. But this technology is centuries ahead of anything we've developed." Dr. Webb was deep in the ship's historical records, his face growing pale as he translated more of the data. "Commander, according to these records, this ship was built by humans. Not aliens, humans. The statement hung in the air like a physical weight. Captain Knox laughed nervously. That's impossible, Doc. No human civilization has technology like this. We're barely managing interplanetary flight, and this ship has capabilities that seem almost magical. Sarah examined the evidence carefully, her analytical mind trying to process the impossible information. Show me the proof, Marcus. Dr. Webb brought up a series of technical diagrams and historical records on the alien display. These manufacturing specifications include human genetic markers in the bioidentification systems. The ship's logs reference Earth, Luna, Mars, and other human colonies. But, Commander, according to these dates, this ship was built over 300 years in the future. Rosa was studying the propulsion systems more closely, comparing them to human theoretical models. It's true. This technology is definitely based on human engineering principles, but it's been developed far beyond anything we've imagined. The materials science alone represents centuries of advancement. Captain Knox was examining the ship's defensive systems with growing amazement. If this is really human technology from the future, then our species has a much more impressive destiny than we imagined. These weapons could defend Earth against any threat in the galaxy. As they explored further into the ship, they discovered living quarters designed for human occupants, food storage systems containing recognizable Earth foods, and recreational areas that showed distinctly human cultural influences. But the most shocking discovery was yet to come. In the deepest section of the ship, they found a sealed chamber that their sensors indicated contained active life support systems. The door was massive, clearly designed to protect whatever lay beyond, and it bore markings that Dr. Webb recognized as a form of evolved human writing. The bioscanners are detecting multiple life signs beyond this door, Captain Knox reported, his hand instinctively moving to his sidearm. At least 20 individuals, all showing human biological signatures. Sarah stood before the sealed chamber, realizing that they were about to discover the truth behind this impossible ship. Whatever lay beyond that door would change everything. They thought they knew about humanity's future and their place in the universe. Open it, she commanded, and Rosa began working on the alien locking mechanism. The truth unveiled. Massive door slid open with a soft hiss of equalizing atmosphere, revealing a chamber filled with rows of cylindrical stasis pods. Each pod glowed with the same soft blue-green light they had seen throughout the ship, and through the transparent sections, they could see human faces in peaceful suspension. The sight was both beautiful and terrifying, raising questions that none of them were prepared to answer. Dr. Webb approached the nearest pod carefully, his scientific instruments scanning the occupant within. Commander, these are definitely human beings, but their biological signatures show genetic markers that don't match any current Earth populations. The medical technology keeping them in stasis is centuries beyond our current capabilities. Rosa was examining the stasis systems with the practiced eye of an engineer. These pods are incredible. The life support systems are so advanced that the occupants could potentially remain in suspension indefinitely. The power requirements are minimal, drawing energy from the ship's main fusion core. Captain Knox was doing a tactical assessment of the chamber, counting the occupied pods and checking for any security measures. 23 individuals in total, Commander. Ages appear to range from young adults to elderly. No signs of injury or distress, just peaceful suspension. Sarah studied the faces in the pods, noting the subtle differences that Dr. Webb had detected. These people looked human, but there were small variations in facial structure and body proportions. That suggested centuries of evolution and adaptation to different environments. Can we safely revive one of them? Dr. Webb was deep in the stasis pod's control systems, his xenoarchaeological training helping him understand the alien technology. The revival process appears to be automated and safe. These systems are designed to bring the occupants back to consciousness gradually, minimizing any physical trauma. Rosa had found what appeared to be the chamber's main control console. Commander, I'm reading detailed medical files for each occupant. This individual here appears to be some kind of mission commander. Her name is listed as Captain Elena Vasquez. Age 42, born on a colony world called New Terra. The name sent a chill through Sarah's spine. New Terra was a theoretical colony world that Earth scientists had identified as potentially habitable, but it was over 200 light years away. Current human technology would require thousands of years to reach such a distant location. Begin the revival process for Captain Vasquez, Sarah ordered, stepping back to give the advanced medical systems room to work. Everyone stay alert. We don't know how she'll react to finding us here. The stasis pod began a complex revival sequence, with various lights and energy fields playing across the occupant's body. Medical readings showed her vital signs gradually returning to normal consciousness levels. After 20 minutes, Captain Elena Vasquez opened her eyes and looked directly at Sarah Chun. The woman in the pod was clearly human, but her eyes held an intelligence and depth that spoke of experiences far beyond anything Sarah had ever encountered. As the pod opened fully, Elena sat up slowly, her movements careful and controlled despite having been in stasis for an unknown period. "You're not from the fleet," Elena said in perfect English, though her accent carried inflections that sounded like centuries of linguistic evolution. "Your technology, your clothing, your genetic markers all indicate you're from the early colonial period. What year is it by Earth's standard dating?" Sarah felt like she was living in a dream. "It's 2387 Earth standard. We're from the Titans. Edge mining station. We discovered your ship 2 days ago." Elena's face showed a mixture of relief and concern. 2387. Then we traveled much further back than intended. "My name is Captain Elena Vasquez of the United Human Colonies Deep Space Fleet. We were fleeing the Krax invasion of the Outer Rim colonies in the year 2691. Dr. Webb's excitement was barely contained as he processed this information. "You're from over 300 years in the future. This is incredible. The scientific implications alone could revolutionize our understanding of time and space." Elena stood up from the stasis pod, her movements becoming more confident as her body adjusted to consciousness. "The Krax are a machine intelligence that has been consuming worlds across the galaxy for millennia. They reached human space 15 years ago and have been systematically destroying every colony they encounter. My ship, the Prometheus, was part of the last evacuation fleet from New Terra. Captain Knox's military training made him focus on the tactical situation. Are these Krax following you? Do we need to prepare for an attack?" Elena moved to a nearby console that activated at her touch, displaying star charts and tactical information. That made Sarah's head spin. The temporal displacement was intentional, but we didn't expect to travel so far back. We were hoping to reach a point where we could warn Earth about the coming threat and help prepare humanity's defenses. Rosa was studying the ship's technical specifications with growing amazement. "Captain Vasquez, this technology is incredible. The faster-than-light drives, the energy weapons, the defensive systems, all of it is based on human engineering, but advanced far beyond anything we've achieved." Elena nodded, understanding the shock they were experiencing. "Humanity has made remarkable progress over the next 3 centuries. We've colonized over 200 worlds, developed technologies that seem impossible by your current standards, and created a civilization that spans half the galaxy. But none of that matters if the Krax complete their invasion." Dr. Webb was recording everything, his scientific mind trying to process the implications of what they were learning. "What exactly are these Krax?" How do we fight a machine intelligence that can destroy entire civilizations? Elena's expression became grim as she accessed more data from the ship's computers. The cracks are self-replicating machines that consume all organic matter to fuel their expansion. They've destroyed thousands of civilizations over millions of years. What makes them particularly dangerous is their ability to adapt to any defense we develop. Sarah was beginning to understand the magnitude of the threat they were facing. How long do we have before they reach Earth? Elena studied the star charts and historical data that her ship's computers were comparing with Sarah's time period. Based on their expansion rate and the current position of Earth, you have approximately 50 years before the Crack's vanguard reaches human space. But they won't just attack Earth directly. They'll start with the outer colonies and work there, way inward, consuming everything in their path. Captain Knox was already thinking tactically. What kind of defenses do we need to build? What weapons can stop these machines? Elena began activating more of the ship's systems, bringing online weapon demonstrations and tactical simulations. The key to fighting the Cracks is to use their adaptability against them. Every time they encounter a new type of weapon or defense, they spend time analyzing and adapting to it. The most effective strategy is to constantly change our tactics. And technology. Rosa was deep in the ship's engineering systems, her mind racing as she studied the advanced human technology. These power systems could revolutionize Earth's industrial capacity. With this technology, we could build a fleet that could defend the entire human sector of the galaxy. Dr. Webb was examining the genetic and biological data in the ship's computers. Captain Vasquez, these records show that humanity has evolved significantly over the next 3 centuries. Are there other changes we should know about? Elena smiled for the first time since awakening. Humanity has grown stronger, smarter, and more adaptable. We've learned to work together across vast distances and different environments. The colonies you'll establish over the next centuries will develop specialized skills and technologies that will be crucial in the fight against the Cracks. Sarah was beginning to formulate a plan in her mind. We need to wake up the rest of your crew and get this ship back to Earth. The government needs to know about this threat immediately. Elena nodded in agreement. My crew includes some of the best military commanders, scientists, and engineers from across human space. Together with your people, we can begin preparing Earth's defenses decades ahead of schedule. As Elena began the process of reviving her crew, Sarah realized that this discovery would change everything. Humanity now had knowledge of its own future, advanced technology from centuries of development, and most importantly, time to prepare for the greatest threat their species had ever faced. The next few hours were a whirlwind of activity as the crew of the Prometheus awakened and began working with Sarah's team to understand their situation. Each member of Elena's crew brought specialized knowledge that could help Earth prepare for the coming war. Military commanders shared advanced tactical strategies. Scientists explained technologies that seemed impossible, and engineers showed how to build weapons that could stop the Cracks. Advanced. Rosa was particularly excited by the fusion reactor designs and faster-than-light propulsion systems. Commander, with this technology, we could build ships that could reach any point in human space within weeks instead of years. The industrial applications alone could transform human civilization. Dr. Webb was working with Elena's science team to understand the full scope of the Cracks' threat. The historical records show that every civilization that has tried to fight the Cracks using conventional methods has been destroyed. The key to survival is innovation and adaptation. Captain Knox was learning advanced combat tactics from Elena's military commanders. These weapon systems are incredible, but the real advantage is the strategic knowledge. We now know exactly how the Cracks operate and what their weaknesses are. As the combined human teams worked together, Sarah realized that this was exactly what Elena had meant about humanity's strength. Despite being separated by centuries, humans from different eras were working together seamlessly, sharing knowledge and adapting to new situations with remarkable speed. Elena approached Sarah as the initial planning sessions concluded. "Commander Chun, your people are remarkable. In just a few hours, you've grasped concepts that took us years to develop. This gives me hope that humanity can not only survive the Crack's invasion, but emerge stronger than ever." Sarah looked around at the combined teams working together, humans from 2 different centuries collaborating to save their species' future. "Captain Vasquez, I think we're going to prove that human ingenuity and determination can overcome any threat, no matter how impossible it seems." The discovery of the Prometheus had given humanity its greatest gift: time to prepare, knowledge to guide them, and the confidence that comes from knowing that no matter what challenges lay ahead, human beings would face them together and emerge victorious. The war against the Cracks would be difficult, but humanity now had centuries of future knowledge and technology to help them win. As Sarah prepared to return to Titan's Edge and begin the journey back to Earth, she realized that they had not just discovered an alien ship. They had discovered proof that humanity's future was bright, strong, and worth fighting for. The ship they had thought was too powerful and perfect to be from. Earth had turned out to be exactly that, a testament to human achievement and a promise of what their species could become. Asterisk.